No, I agree with
Okay, good evening, everyone. We're going to be starting the Community Safety Committee, September 17, 2025 at 7:01. We'll be starting off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Can Mr. Member Vora please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Oh, voice. Okay. Member Nam, could you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Moving into roll call. Mr. Secretary, could you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Member Ballantyne.
Here.
Member De Leon.
Here.
Member Hom. Member Kim. Member Nam.
Here.
Member Rosario.
Here.
Member Tan.
Here.
Member Vora. Here. Vice Chair Wilson.
Here.
Chair Gonzalez.
Here.
Member Hom and Member Kim are noted absent for the record.
Can we make is the board open to making a motion to excuse Member Hom and Member Kim?
Yes, it would be appropriate if the committee would like to entertain a motion to excuse Member Hom and Member Kim. We need a motion and a second.
I so move. Motion moved by Member De Leon and second by Member Vora to excuse Members Hom and Member Kim. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passed. Nice. Thank you. At this point in time, we're going to be moving on to public comments. We do have one speaker card for public comments. Mr. Plyman, would you please come up?
My name is David Pyleman. My new address will soon be 7842 Sun Valley Way, as the governor has decided that a word in my current address was racist. Some may know I regularly speak before council meetings and the Property Preservation Commission, but my role today is to represent two regular attendees of your meetings who live in my Shadowrun tract and are unavailable to attend tonight. As I'm sure you all are aware, on August 31, there was a fatal shooting near the entrance of the Cerritos Sports Center, specifically near the first base dugout of the softball field just east of the Bloomfield entrance. One of the major concerns that residents of our tract that live near Coyote Creek have is the fireworks that are periodically set off in the base of the creek. One of our residents heard what she believed was fireworks on this night, but she later learned that it was actually gunfire from this August 31 shooting. I believe that the crime report on this incident indicated a significant number of gunshots were discharged. She reports that she frequently calls 911 reporting there are fireworks being discharged, but as one would expect, by the time deputies arrive, the perpetrators are long gone. We read, new technology can track fireworks and gunshot explosion locations. Do we have this technology in place? Would it assist in the reduction of these events? Another of our residents notes an increase in the number of vehicles in the parks late in the night, overnight. I do not think this is necessarily a homeless people presence issue. She is concerned about the type of crime that this might bring. One suggestion is to block the entrances of the park at a certain time. Now, on a personal note, because of my previous projects I've been involved with, we're talking about not just the city of Cerritos, but the county of Los Angeles, the franchisee of the tennis courts, and more importantly, we virtually have two separate sheriff's agencies we rely on. This was one of the questions I recently asked the captain. As when I saw the television coverage of the shooting incident, I did not observe a Cerritos logo on any of the sheriff's vehicles in view, so I assumed they were park sheriff officers present. Even further than this, if you get into how the parks are built, where the monies came from, there are many additional considerations we must make when dealing with this entire complex. This might lead into the question of whether security cameras could be installed and maintained. So is it even possible for the park, both of them, to be secured from, let's say, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.? When are the posted closed hours for the park behind our track, El Rancho Verde Park? In her letter to you, one of my neighbors indicates she believes the park closes at 9 p.m., but this appears far from being enforced. We all know this is not possible. Recreation and tennis extend past 9 p.m. If the Cerritos sheriff officers do not regularly patrol Cannabis Park, and the park sheriff units are not regularly in Cerritos overnight, does the Southwest Patrol have authority to pass through both these parks? Do you think any of these issues relate to Cerritos at large? Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Carey, can we recognize Member Kim walked in at 7:04?
Yes, sir. Thank you. And if I may, I'd like to know written comments received for the record before the meeting. Prior to the meeting, we received two written pieces of correspondence that were submitted by the deadline listed on the agenda. The correspondence has been distributed to the committee members. The written correspondence has been entered into the official record and is available upon request through the office of the city clerk during regular business hours.
Seeing nobody else in attendance, at this point we'll be closing public comments. Moving on to agenda item number 5, the consent calendar. I believe we have 2 minutes we need to approve for May 15th and March 18th. Mr. Carey, could you please do a roll call on these 2 separate?
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I may, just to note on the March 18th meeting minutes, for the minutes of that meeting took place prior to the committee's reorganization and the appointment of new members. I've been in contact with the city clerk regarding directions for the approval of the minutes for this meeting and have been advised that it is appropriate for any member to take action on the minutes if they were either in attendance at the meeting or subsequently viewed the recording of the meeting at a later date. If you were not in attendance and did not view the meeting on video, the appropriate action for you would be to abstain. Given that there are 3 members in attendance this evening who were members of the committee and were in attendance at the March 18th meeting, the clerk has noted that the minutes can be approved with a majority vote of those who were either in attendance at the meeting or who viewed the meeting previously. It's a long way of saying that in this instance, the committee is able to approve the minutes for the March 18th meeting without a collective majority vote. So with that, I'll turn it over to the chair, and I think it would be appropriate if we took 2 separate actions on the minutes this evening.
Okay. Can we first start with a motion to approve the minutes for Wednesday, March 18th, 2025?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Vora, did you view the meeting?
I would ask if I could second it. I couldn't. from what
Right.
you
It would likely be appropriate for Member Nam or Member Gonzalez to second the motion, since they were in attendance at the meeting. And anybody else who watched the meeting on video after would be able to vote. So we have a motion and we need a
I'll
second.
second.
Motion and a second from Member Nam. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and at this point, can we have a motion to approve the minutes from May 15th, 2025? First or second? Can I make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Member Vora made a motion, second by Member Wilson. All those in favor? Aye? All those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, see. Right now, at this time, I'd like to call for a report on item 6A, a report on crime and public safety information. Mr. Secretary, may we please have the report?
Yes, sir. We're pleased this evening to have Captain Strong and one of his deputies with us this evening to provide an overview of crime statistics and traffic-related information and crime prevention efforts here in the city. So with that, I'll turn it over to Captain Strong.
Thank you, Deputy City Manager Ryan. Okay, we'll start off with Part 1 crimes, starting with homicides. This year, we had 4 compared to the same time last year. We had 1. Obviously, that's an increase. It is a concern. The first 2 homicides, there are suspects in custody for both of those incidents. For the most recent one, which the gentleman was referring to, that is an active investigation. As far as patrols in the park, we are increasing the patrols in the park. We are trying to address the few homeless folks that are at that park at those hours. To my knowledge, there are no cameras at that park in that particular location right now, but we are working on moving our city contracted cameras to that location in the near future. So we are aware of it. Homicide Bureau is working it. I don't want to go too far into details into the incident. I will let you know that we don't believe that it was directly related to Cerritos as far as the folks that are involved being residents of Cerritos or Cerritos related. We believe it was a random thing that just occurred here in the city. Moving on to the second incident here on Part 1 crimes, it's going to be rapes. Those are 0. We've had 0 this year so far compared to 3 last year, so they're down quite a bit. I'll go into the section of robberies. I'm going to kind of summarize the robbery section. Every area of robberies right now are down, which is fantastic news for us. I just want to remind everybody that when you're in the shopping centers, if you purchase a whole bunch of goods or you're over there, don't, flash around money, don't flash around all your goods. Be cognizant if somebody's following you around in the parking lot, contact security, contact the deputy that's over there at the mall, and they'll be glad to assist. So just be aware of that. The next section I want to talk about is the aggravated assaults. Primarily, those are domestic violence incidents. However, I wanted to share one incident with you guys. On August 4th, deputies responded to a transient call near a Christian Valley school, Valley Christian School. The informant showed deputies a hose that had been ran from the school to a homeless encampment over there. It was hooked up to a 250-gallon tank, and deputies went over there and contacted the individual. And when they did, they ended up recovering a firearm and ended up subsequently arresting that individual. Through fantastic detective work, there was a shooting prior in the area where a gentleman was struck in the chest area or stomach area. A bullet was recovered from that individual. They ended up matching the firearm that this person was in possession of to that bullet and charged him with the crime of attempted murder. Got filed. So that's a positive outcome. That is one instance that we had with aggravated assaults, but mostly those are going to be domestic violence incidents. But the detectives at Cerritos Station are doing a fantastic job. There's more instances similar to that I can reference. Another one that we recently had was on May 5th and June 26th. There's 2 separate grand thefts reports taken from local businesses. The thefts included cargo containing millions of dollars of vitamins and cargo container with skateboards in it, balance bikes, scooters. When this first started, there was little to no workable information on who had committed this crime and what went on with it. On both occasions, our Cerritos deputies canvassed the area for cameras, spoke to local businesses, owners, and to gather information. They solicited help from the department's Cargo Cats unit, which specializes in cargo theft. And as they continued to investigate their collective investigation efforts into these crimes, they successfully located and arrested the suspects and recovered the merchandise and additional merchandise related to other thefts that had occurred. So the detectives are doing a fantastic job there, trying to reduce crime and solving cases as well. Moving on the Part 1 crimes, we're going to go on to residential burglaries. Always been a hot topic in the city, and we are making great leaps and bounds in this particular area. So I just wanted to share one statistic with you guys. With the support of council and with the support of the city manager and the deputies doing a fantastic job as well. And most importantly, you guys, the citizens, looking at this particular category, residential burglaries, from June 1st to September 15th, comparing last year's data in the same period of time, we went from 62 residential burglaries to 19. That's a 69, almost a 70% decrease in residential burglaries during that period of time. So things are going well in that category. Obviously, one is one too many. So keep up the good work that you guys are doing. We're going to keep working hard. Council is always supportive of our actions, and the city manager is always very supportive as well. So great job on that. Keep up the good work, but we still have too many. 19 is too many. Just to remind you guys of some of the things that we've done for residential burglaries, as we've spoken about in the past, we've been able to reduce the response times for these audible alarms and these burglaries from 14 minutes to 7. So we've been successful. The deputies have really put in a lot of work for that, making them a priority call. The special problems team, consisting of 1 sergeant and 6 deputies, have been patrolling those areas as well. The 3 full-time security guys have been out there also patrolling. From what my understanding is, they've been doing a really, really good job from some of the speaking with the citizens that I've had the opportunity to do. Phase 1 and 2, the automated license plate readers are installed and completed. Working on phase 3, there's been a few power issues, trying to work with the power source on those that we're working through. So be patient with those, but they're on their way. And then also the drones, deputies have been utilizing drones in certain scenarios. We've utilized one on an assault with a deadly weapon near the mall where somebody was struck with a pipe. We were able to locate the suspect, detain them. Also, we've deployed it to keep the deputies safe prior to doing a yard search when we thought a suspect was back there. That way the deputies don't have to go back there blind and not have any idea of where all the hiding spots are back there and if somebody's back there. So it's been a very successful tool for us so far. We're trying to get more deputies trained on it. The department trains every few months. They have a training for it. So it's not like we can just send them back to back to back. We have to wait for the training period to open. But the city's very supportive. They've been reimbursing, for all the expenses that go along with that. So everything's been going very well with that. Also, we have a Deputy in the Neighborhood Watch program. Deputy Cham has been back in that, and we're always trying to, keep that going. And Mark Smith has been working on that as well. So we're happy with the progress we've made there. We're still doing the Green Bar Initiative. Obviously, if you guys go to the city's website, you can look that up. Tell you some ways to harden the targets of your residents. For example, turning on lights at the night, keeping a car in the driveway, locking the side gate. I know a lot of you are familiar with this already. All that information is on the city's website. In the past, Major Crimes Bureau has done some operations. LA Impact has done some operations in the past where they have effected an arrest of a couple individuals. I spoke about that at council a while ago. Pharmacies, they've been hard hit. We just placed one of our AI cameras at one of the pharmacies, the local pharmacies, so that we can monitor that. That AI camera is linked up to dispatch so that the deputies can monitor it as well. And the team that runs that, they monitor it, and if they see anything suspicious, they call the desk, and then we can respond over there. We're looking at moving that more frequently, that camera around the city to problem locations. In the future, we are going to try and look at putting that at the park where that homicide occurred and going from there. The city is still partnered with Mornay Security with the live feed LPR camera trailer. So these are some of the leaps and bounds that we made. Fantastic job, down almost 70%. I couldn't be happier except for if it was at 0, and that's what we're aiming for. So going through larcenies, those are all down except for vehicle burglaries. I want to remind everybody with these vehicle burglaries, most of the vehicle burglaries that we have in the city are occurring at the shopping centers. Make sure that when you're at the shopping center that you secure your vehicles, lock the doors, close the windows, don't leave valuables in plain view. If you leave valuables in plain view, these guys are going to come through. If they see them, they're going to try and break into your car and take them. The security guards have been notified. They're spending more time in the parking lots. The deputy that works over at the Los Cerritos Mall has been spending some more time. Our deputies are patrolling there. They know about it. So we're definitely trying to reduce that number, but I need the citizens' help to do that. It's really incumbent upon you guys to secure those vehicles. Don't have belongings in plain view that could be stolen. Moving on to Grand Theft Auto, down 41%. I don't know if anybody remembers, but about 2 years ago or so, those numbers were up very, very high. So we're happy to have those down. Arsons, we have had 3 compared to 0. However, the arsons have been things such as like a transient lighting a tree on fire, a transient lighting a like a forklift on fire. So it hasn't been like an arson that's somebody's house has been burning down. It's been just kind of random type of things. There's still active investigations, and we're looking into it, and we do take them serious. But we don't feel like there's a threat to the citizens or anything with that at this point in time. Overall, 30% down on Part 1 crimes. So we're happy to see those numbers down as compared to before. We remain very vigilant. Another good story that we have, I don't know if you guys follow us on social media, but we did post this a little bit ago. Our Narcotics Bureau served a search warrant on the 18,000 block of Vicky Avenue. And it was based on a weed tip. And they went to the location, served the search warrant. They recovered 2 pounds of crystal methamphetamine, half a pound of powder fentanyl, digital scales, bags for narcotics, and arrested a couple individuals at the location. So success story. I always fear those things will end up in our schools, and we don't need that here in Cerritos. So good thing from this is it came from a weed tip. So you never know. When you guys provide a tip or citizens provide a tip, we follow up on them. We don't just delete that message. We look into it, we follow up on it, we work it, and look what it can lead to with just you guys helping us out a little bit. You are our eyes on the ground out here. So please keep up the great work. And as far as that goes, that's all I have for the crimes. Traffic, I'll turn to Sergeant Wendland.
Hear me? Okay, good. So once again, Gridley and South was kind of problematic intersection again. We've been monitoring it. I think the amount of traffic that goes through there is just is so heavy that it's hard to really reinforce everything that's going through there. The traffic's rolling 3. That was down from 5, I think, our last meeting back in July. The good news is all traffic accidents are down, injuries and non-injuries. And I think that has to do with the increase of traffic citations, almost 800 this year more than last year. A lot of the accidents we are seeing are in the malls, on private property, and they're really low impact accidents, bumpers. The hit and runs, on my end, I kind of keep track of my end since I investigate hit and runs. They're also down as well. We were averaging about 2 a week last year, and we're about 6 total now. So not a huge number, but 2 a month is good. And on the bright side of that too is people are getting license plates. Teslas and other cars can videotape stuff. We're getting the plates, and we're going after the people, and they're fessing up to it, and they're paying for the damages, which is what we want. Like I said, most of our accidents are on private property, and I would say probably roughly 70%. The mall, town center, little strip malls too adhere to that as well. I know Karen wanted me to touch base on. Anybody have any questions on that part? The accidents and okay. Karen wanted me to touch base on electric bikes. I know some time ago there was a question on them. There is 3 classes, and thank you, Karen, for helping me out here. There are 3 classes of bikes that are out there. I'm gonna have to look up on how we can identify them, because right now I don't know if you can identify a class 1 to a class 2 or 3, but just by simply looking at it. Class 1s and class 2s can't go over 20 miles per hour. Class 3s can go up to 28 miles per hour. As far as helmets needed, so class 1 and 2, you have to be over. Over 18. Yeah, you're correct. Over 18, and you must wear a helmet if you're under 18. Class 3, under 18 cannot ride those at all. And I'll look into it, how to tell the difference. Because I think if I pull up to one right now, I couldn't tell the difference on it. Where can they be ridden legally? So 1 and 2 can be ridden on most bike paths, sidewalks, and lanes. Class 3 bikes are limited to roads and on-street bikes unless local laws say otherwise. One other thing I saw here. 1 and 2 bike riders must be 18, wear a helmet. No license, insurance, registration is required for any of the bikes at all. All bikes are like bicycles and vehicles. They must adhere to the roadways. So let's say 6 bikes roll up together at a stop sign. Each bike has to stop for that stop sign. You can't, and if you're the third, say, section back, in the second section back, and the first one was to go for the stop sign, that second person needs to approach the stop sign and go. They can ride side by side like a motorcycle, 2 motorcycles, and they can park in an area that's designated for a parking spot. They cannot park sideways and take over 2 parking spots, if you will. Bike helmets can be enforced. Obviously, we cannot stop just because we don't see anybody wearing a helmet. If we think they're under the age of 18, we actually have to have another violation to do that for. But then we can enforce that helmet law once they're stopped. They don't need insurance. So if you get in an accident, I think we had one about a month ago where an e-bike crashed into a car and they had no accident. I'm sorry, no insurance. A report was taken. They were listed on there. The other party obviously was concerned about things being paid for. I did follow up. The parents of the minor took care of the damage. So if that were to occur, excuse me, if that were to occur, you'd probably have to sue them civilly if they refuse to pay. Any questions?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So you said they don't need insurance. Is it also for scooters, when electric scooters that are being driven around the city, do they need insurance or they don't need insurance either?
So all scooters, electric bikes, those stand-up ones, none of them need insurance. None of them need to be registered, and none need a driver's license. And if they're under 18, for the 1 and 2, you need a bike helmet.
Since this is relatively new, is there any data that's being collected, or is this?
We have not started. In fact, I think I just became aware of it a few. I didn't realize there was really an abundance of electric bikes. But it's funny you say that because where I live, the parents have started to complain about it, and so I think it's becoming more of an issue that we may start looking at in the near future. Not us, but maybe California. I mean, obviously the city and the county, sheriff's county, can look into it as well. But right now, we're not compiling any data on it at all.
And just to piggyback on that a little bit, it's difficult to enforce these. You got, 1, 2, 20 miles an hour, this and that. And it's not an easy thing to enforce, right? When you visually see a bike from far away, it's hard to tell how to pace that bike and everything else. So they're difficult to enforce right now. We're working on it, but it's a challenge.
And also the 2026, they're going to have throttles where they can't go past it. They can be modified. I've seen people modify it. I guess they can hook a computer up to it now and modify the speed. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about it. I wouldn't know how to do it, but that is how they're increasing the speed by technology and new computer chips and upgrading stuff. But yeah, 2026 is going to have new laws, new safety laws coming into play. I don't know if anybody's ridden one. I've ridden one. They're fast. Yeah. I mean, we've gone on some trails and I rode myself. I didn't crash, but I had a couple oopsies, that I thought wasn't going to go well. But yeah, they're fast. Yeah.
That concludes our report. We'll turn it back over to the committee.
Thank you, Captain. Thank you, Sergeant, for your report. Mr. Kerry, can we acknowledge Member Hom walked in at 7:24?
Yes, we'll note that.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee members on this agenda item? Member Vore?
Thank you. First of all, I'm very glad to hear about the advances that the Sheriff's Department has made, and I'm thankful for that. Now, I did hear about a few points that the residents brought, and I read the letter, and I did have a couple of people even actually approach me before the meeting to see what can be done. One of the things that they mentioned is they have been noticing a lot of people, someone's going through mailboxes, opening them and stealing mail. I told them that needs to be reported to the sheriffs so they can take action, but I wanted to put it on record that, someone did bring this up, and if something could be done about it. Then one of the gentlemen just came by. He said that there's a lot of crime. The crime is around the city, not a lot, but do we have statistics on the time when the crime happens? And if we have that, can the patrol be, adjusted according to the time when the crime is happening so that we know we get the best bang for our money. As you know, the officers are there when the crime happens. He also talked about cameras at the creek. I don't know if that's possible or not, but there are cameras that, that are motion censored. So, maybe they go on at certain, after sunlight, or at certain hours once it's not allowed for people to be there. And having cars at the park, after hours, maybe if possible, this is for the council to decide if we can have some kind of barriers that, cars or people are, physically not able to go in. And if you see someone in there, and if an officer is driving by just on patrol, they know they don't belong there. I mean, I thought some of these things from what I heard about them, people say to me, and I hear this could be addressed, it could be brought up.
Let me start with the first of those. All right, so you're speaking about mail theft. In fact, we did have some complaints about mail theft in regards to the location where the search warrant was served at. So we do take those seriously, and when people report that their mail is being stolen, we search the area. Sometimes we can set up operations with our special assignment team to look at the area in unmarked cars and things like that to try and catch people. However, unless there's an actual pattern to the theft of the mail, time, location, things like that. If it's a random act, it's definitely difficult to pinpoint who's doing it. But in these WE-tip lines are what really does it. Like in that particular one that I described to you where they got the narcotics, that was also particular location that people were complaining, thinking that possibly mail theft was occurring from their residence, and those might be the people involved. So, one thing leads to another. So just please remind us, give us a call. If you see something suspicious, if your mail's stolen, call us up. We'll come out there, and we'll handle that for you. The second thing is you're talking about time of crimes. Our crime analyst provides us data on a regular basis, daily, about when crimes are occurring, during what hours, the locations, and we definitely concentrate our efforts towards that data. So that's how our department works overall. What we do is data-based, right? When crimes are occurring in a certain area, and during a certain time, that's when we're out there looking. And that's how we do our job. Also, I know the city tells the security guards that patrol the city the same thing. So it's data-driven the way that we patrol, very much so. And that's why when we have a homicide somewhere, that area is going to be a focus, right? That's where we start doing patrols. We look at taking the security camera that we have for the city that we move from location to location, placing it there, and just other ideas that come to mind to increase patrols in those areas. So we are absolutely data-driven. Cameras at the creek, that's going to be a city question. I'll divert to Ryan for that.
Yeah, cameras in the creek, that is something that we have not looked at. As you may know, the riverbeds are the jurisdiction of the county flood control, so we'd have to work with them. As far as I'm aware, there have not been any discussions currently to place cameras in the creek. So something we could look into, but there's no plans for that right now.
So is there a procedure that could be started where you can start having a conversation about it and see how it could be done? Because it could be a good deterrence for crime, because that is an open area, easy to come in and go out of.
Yeah, we could certainly take a look into it. I don't know the process or protocol for that, so we'd have to do a little research on that for you.
Okay,
And
fair enough.
to carry on with that conversation, we do have some of the issues that we have in the city, obviously, as you guys know, are related to those riverbeds and some of those areas. We've got a deputy assigned to the homeless outreach that we do in the city now, along with a city employee as well that goes with the deputy out there, and we offer services to these individuals. We've been pretty successful with that, and we take a humanitarian approach to try and get these guys and gals out of these riverbeds that are sometimes causing issues over there. So be aware of that. And as far as the cameras go, the city's going to ultimately be in charge of that, but we can definitely patrol the area, right? We have motors units that can kind of go down those little creek areas if they need to, for a specific reason, if you're having issues down there and things like that, which we have done in the past. We've had a lot of complaints about mini bikes coming down the creek area from residents that live over there. We got to the point where a deputy followed the sound of a mini bike all the way till it went all the way around back into the garage of their house and pulled up, and then cited that individual for that. So they are a little bit of a cat and mouse game to locate those because those little mini bikes can get in areas that are definitely difficult for a patrol car to get into. So.
Yeah, and then on your other point about potentially blocking access to the parks, I don't think we're at that point yet. I think Captain Strong and his team are aware of the issues that are taking place in our parks, and we're hopeful that we can address those issues through increased patrols in the area.
I see.
Member Nem?
If cameras are a problem and it'll be a long time to probably get them even approved, are we open to having it chained or gated so that vehicles don't go through when the park is closed?
The park or the flood control channels?
The area that they're concerned.
The flood control channels, the only time I know that those flood control channels are locked is when there's a storm, a large storm, and there's safety issues related to that. I do not know what the protocol would be to lock those because we'd have to have someone come out and lock them at the end of the night and then come back in the morning and open them. So I'm not sure what the protocol would be for that. We'd have to look into it. But as Captain Strong mentioned, I think we can address the issues through patrol at this point.
Just one more question, if I may. What is the protocol for homeless encampments around the city and to remove them? Do we have some regulation where we can remove them or we can, reduce the homeless from being in the city?
We've been very active in addressing the homeless issues here in Cerritos. We've recently cleaned up 2 major encampments. The first one was behind the Plaza 183 shopping center, and then we had one that was on the Union Pacific Railroad right away. We work aggressively with the property owners to gain access to the property. We post notices on the property for the folks to let them know that I think it's 14 days they have to remove their belongings, and then they'll be cleaned out. Captain Strong and his team are very active in engaging with these folks. And whenever we get calls of encampments, we immediately begin working on those. So we're very happy with the success we've had, but we're always vigilant in trying to address issues as they come up.
Excellent, excellent.
And to follow up on that, our approach to the homeless issue is humanitarian. It first and foremost is a humanitarian issue. It's not a law enforcement issue. It's a humanitarian issue.
Exactly.
So when we go out there, our first move is to try and give these guys and gals services. Even on the signs that we post out there, the sign has a number on it that can give them services. If they call that number, they can get the services. We offer them services when we go out to the location. That's our first move. We're very patient with these individuals. We're understanding, but at the other side of the coin, we're also understanding that people live here. They don't want to see people, defecating in buckets and stuff like that behind their house. So we're trying to work with both sides of it. But the first move that we always do is a humanitarian approach to these individuals, try and get them the help that they need because obviously it's a crisis that they're in.
Any other questions from members? No. At this time, I'd like to open public comments on this agenda item. Do we have anyone that would like to speak on this agenda item in the public? Okay. Can you please come forward and state your name, please?
Good evening. My name is Emmanuel Aparicio. I just had 2 questions. Maybe the captain can answer. I know before the big issue was retail theft. I may have come here a little late. I don't know if you went over it, but the big issue was retail theft. I just wanted more information on that. If it has decreased or subsided? First question. Second question. I forgot. I lost my train of thought. But if we can start with the first question.
Okay. Yeah, in regards to retail theft, there has been a decrease. I can tell you right here, we talked about this a little bit earlier when I put out the crime statistics, but larcenies, so thefts over $950 grand theft, that's down 8%. Most of these thefts, they can be from residents as well, as far as like items being stolen, let's say a bicycle from the front yard or something, but predominantly they're from our shopping centers here in the city. That's down 8%. So thefts over $950 are down 8%. The one that I addressed earlier, that's the concern, It's not up, it's even, 170 year-to-date last year this time. Same thing this year is the vehicle burglaries, but there's still a concern. I want to see that number in the negative. I don't want to see it equal. Everything else in that area is down. Let's get that one down too, and we can do that if we work together with some of the ideas that we spoke about earlier, keeping the belongings out of view in your car, securing your vehicles when you're at the shopping center, rolling up your windows. Petty thefts, which is a lot of that's going to be at the stores, down 42%. We're getting a lot of prosecutions on petty thefts now that in the past we did not from the district attorney's office. So that's been helping decrease that. Overall, it's down 26%.
Okay, thank you. I remember the second question. Previously before Prop 36, you would see a lot of repeat offenders. Do you see a lot of these suspects or criminals coming back and doing the same crimes, or are they being prosecuted?
So they are being prosecuted more now than before. That's what I've seen the trend in, and I stay in contact with our detective bureau to follow up on a lot of these cases because I want to see where things are going. And the district attorney is very supportive. I've spoken to him myself. He said that if there's anything that we need or we can work better together at, then contact his office. So he's been very supportive, and we're gonna challenge him at that. When we have some issues, we're gonna bring him over there, and if we don't get the results that we're looking for, we're gonna hold them accountable and ask them, what more did we need? What could we have done better to get this case filed? So I feel like we're heading in the right direction with that. So are they repeat offenders? Some. However, the laws have changed it. So if you're, got your petty thefts with priors, it can be charged, differently now, right, than before. And also, we're getting a lot more filings. Those are in itself are deterrents, right? Deterring crime. If you go to jail, you're less likely to want to do a crime when you know you're going to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's just the truth. So now they're going to jail, and you're seeing a reduction of crime.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak on public comments? This item? Seeing no one, I'll declare public comments closed. I'll bring it back to the committee. Any other questions or comments from my committee members? Seeing none, do I have a motion to obtain, to receive and file the report? Can we have a motion?
A motion.
We have a second?
Second.
Member Rosario motion, second Vice Chair Wilson, to receive and file the reports. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. That brings us down to item 7A, reports from the committee liaison. Mr. Carey, do you have anything to report?
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to thank the committee for having me this evening. It's been my pleasure to work with you guys here over the last couple weeks. As you know, Darrell Evans recently retired, and I'm serving to help kind of bridge the gap until we have a replacement in place for him. Mr. Evans served the community very well, and I know he worked very closely with all of you, and I'm looking forward to working with you as well. So thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Carey. Our final item of the evening is 7B, reports from community safety committee members. Member Ballantyne? Nothing. Member De Leon? Member Hom?
Yes, something embarrassing happened. I did get a traffic ticket. Yeah, I did get a traffic ticket. It's my fault. I didn't reveal my position until after I got the ticket. And just to let people know, when you do get a ticket, I went to the courthouse the next day, and they said they won't get the ticket for a month. They said to wait for a letter or something from the courthouse before appearing.
Yeah. Thank you, Member Hom. Member Kim? Nothing. Member Nam? No. Member Nam? Member Kim, anything?
No.
No, okay. Member Nam?
it's just good to be back, and I'm glad to see the crime being less, and appreciate the committee and the staff. Thank you.
Member Rosario?
Yeah, just a question about the phases of the LPR. Phase 3 starting, and if there's gonna be any other phases after that.
As Captain Strong noted, we are on phase 3 of the installation of our Alpers cameras. I think to date, we have roughly 35 cameras installed throughout the city at various intersections. I think they have been very effective in assisting our sheriff's deputies with crime investigations. At this point in time, there is no additional funding in this year's budget for Alpers cameras, but that's not to say that when we come around to budget season later this year, that there won't be a funding request placed in it by the city council. So at this point in time, we're finalizing the phase 3. There is no further plans, but that's not to say that the council wouldn't direct additional funding for cameras in the future.
Okay. And then, so there's a lot of reports of uneven pavements on the streets. Has the city done any liability reports based off of those uneven sidewalks?
I'm not aware of any liability reports. As the committee may be aware, the city is insured through the California JPIA, Joint Powers Insurance Authority. And so any claims that we get for accidents relating to uneven sidewalks get referred to the JPIA for review. Our public works team works very hard to address the uneven sidewalks. Part of the effort that they've gone through, as you know, is our urban reforestation program, which is to take out problematic trees that have caused sidewalk uplift. We're continuing to work through that. I would encourage our residents, if you have an issue with a sidewalk in front of your home, to give our team here at City Hall a call. Our public works folks will go out and take a look and prioritize that to get it taken care of. It is something that we are aware of, and it's something that we work actively to address.
And then one final thing is, I've been hearing a lot of dog on dog attacks from owners not having their dogs leashed. Is there anything that we can do to kind of help enforce that with kids and elderly at the parks and things like that?
Yeah, there are municipal codes that address dogs off a leash in the park and things like that. So, if you see somebody with a dog off a leash at the park, go ahead and give us a call. We can go over there and check it out and provide them a citation if necessary. When you're dealing with animals, dog on dog bites and things like that, dogs are considered property, right? So under the law, they're considered property. So when they're biting each other, if one injures another dog, it's going to be a civil matter that is addressed through a civil courtroom. So you can sue them for whatever damages that they caused to your dog and things like that. But they are considered property at the end of the day. But nonetheless, if you have them off of a leash at the park, there are laws for keeping your dog on a leash.
I'm just worried about it progressing to maybe a dog on a person, or
Absolutely, and that's our concern as well. So if you guys do see a dog off a leash at the park, feel free to call. I mean, if nothing else, we can refer to code too. They can enforce that kind of stuff as well. But we can enforce it as well. We can give citations for dogs off the leash at the park. So if we don't get it, we'll give it to the proper people to help us out with it from the city as well.
Thank
We
you.
work together on that.
Thank you.
Member Tan?
Nothing, thank you.
Member Ibarra?
First of all, I'd like to thank Ryan. He's taken time in the last 2 weeks that he mentioned. He took time out to actually, talk to us one-on-one and made an effort to explain us what's going on. And I sincerely appreciate that. I wanted to put it out, Thank you very much. And also, Deputy Strong, thank you for taking time to answer all the questions. I think you did a great job. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Wilson?
First of all, I want to thank you, Ryan, for being here. It's right there. It's on. And I want to talk a little bit on the Neighborhood Watch program because it's a vital role. and it plays and it enhances our community safety. We need to expand the number of block captains throughout the city, and we need more eyes on the street, which significantly helps deter the crime and supports our local law enforcement, our sheriffs. And while our deputies are providing critical services, they can't be everywhere at all times. That's where we need our neighbors to step up as a vital expansion of our public safety. Our neighborhoods' active engagement has fostered strong relationships and enabling us to look out for each other and each other's homes, and it promotes security awareness. And the key points that Captain Strong had already touched on was ensuring our homes and outdoor areas are well lit at night, securing gates and locking vehicles, removing all valuables from cars, and installing cameras such as Ring. I'm not selling it, but just example, which provide instant alerts to suspicious activity. And looking ahead, our neighborhood, our zone 54, we're having our annual Halloween event on October 31st, and we'll celebrate the community and safety together. It marks our 7th year hosting this gathering at the decorated home on the corner of Felsen Street and Stowers Avenue. At 5 p.m., we take a group picture, and participating homes are listed. We make a list for the families to be able to go out and take their children out safely to go trick-or-treating. The fire station and deputies often join us, helping to build trust and familiarity between the children and the first responders. Our neighborhood watch meetings continue to focus on proactive safety strategies, community involvement, and fostering a positive environment where residents and children feel secure. Neighborhood Watch is a critical partnership between residents and law enforcement, building safer neighborhoods through vigilance, communication, and connection. That's all I have.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Mr. Carey, I would just like to thank you for taking the lead with the Community Safety Committee, and I look forward to working with you. I have no further comments at this time, and seeing no further business, I adjourn the meeting at 7:53. Thank you to everyone watching, and have a nice evening.